Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the Morehammer podcast, your bi-weekly Warhammer podcast where we talk all things around the hobby, what we've been up to, the latest news reveals in the hobby, and of course we've got a big Warhammer summer preview coming up that's got lots of cool, exciting things to pop up coming soon, and hopefully a very small but chaotic new army coming. So we'll be digging into that and what we think we might see. But as always, guys, I am joined this week by Simon, aka Hobby Waffle. And we have a returning guest. Great to see him again at Tabletop. Tom, how are we doing, guys?
Good,
Yeah, not too
thanks.
bad, thank you. Welcome back, Tom.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate you having me back
yeah,
on an
it's great to see you.
exciting pre-preview show as well. This is
I know
it's a
it's
fun
crazy,
time
isn't
to
it?
come back together.
It's kind of weird, actually. Yeah, when we do these preview predictions, Warhammer calls it a preview because I guess they're previewing their new releases or whatever. But it's kind of weird. It is a preview of a preview, I guess, isn't it? Yeah. But no, we'll have some good fun chatting about what's to come, and there's a lot of stuff they've said is coming. They're bigging it up, and of course, if we haven't already hinted at it enough already, there's rumors of course, the Chaos Dwarfs returning to Age of Sigmar. So yeah, plenty to get into, but before we do, a couple of things off the top. Make sure, as always, guys, to throw a like on the video and subscribe to us here on the channel. And if you're listening to us on Spotify or watching now, because we have both, follow us over there too. And of course, make sure to join up to and over on Blue Sky. Me, Sai, and Ben have reposted it. I don't know if you're on Blue Sky, Tom, or not, but we can always get you to as well,
Mhm.
possibly if you're over there.
Sure.
We've got a prize giveaway because this is episode 49. Episode 50 is in a couple of weeks' time for the podcast. So we're giving a prize giveaway of a new spearhead or combat patrol of your guys' choice. All you have to do is go over to that link. I'll post it in the description below and hopefully in the comments if I remember to. Jump over to that, repost it, and follow the details of what you got to do to enter. But it's completely free. And you'll be in with a chance to win that, and you can help us celebrate our 50th episode. So we look forward to that. Who knows, Si? By the time somebody wins, there might be a new spearhead for Legions of Asgore, Chaos Dwarfs. Eh? You can always go for that. Maybe we'll have to wait and see.
Maybe.
But other than that, guys, I think we'll jump in and start with a bit of hobbying. Because obviously, Tom, we haven't had you on for a while. I know you said
Mm.
you're busy at the moment in the middle of moving house, but I mean, obviously, we've definitely, I'm sure, since the last time you were on, got a few things you can update us on and what you're up to at the moment. But I know you've sent me
Yeah,
this very lovely image
I've got it. I've got it in
Oh,
person here,
as
nice.
well.
just
Ooh.
just in case, although the blur effect is going to ruin it. So yeah, I've got an Iron Hands army that I've been slowly building up over time, and then I added Dark Angels not that long ago when the Deathwing set came out because really I fell in love with the cover for that limited edition set. It was the third edition Dark Angels Codex cover, and I just wanted to do a new army, and I was like, that's it, two Space Marine armies. I've got Custodes, I've got Necrons. I've got other projects in the works. I don't need more. And then the Space Wolves got released, and I just like, yeah, you know what, Space Vikings, I'm all on board. So that's going to keep me busy over the next few weeks. And I've already got Logan Grimnar and two sets of the new Wolfguard Terminators on pre-order for
Nice.
next week.
Oh,
So
nice.
I am jumping in headfirst into Space Wolves and looking forward to
Cool.
trying a new saga in my Space Marine collection. Although I think three is definitely the limit on chapters
For now.
Yeah,
for now.
that's what they like to get you thinking, and then they release
I,
awesome
I
nuke and
s-
stuff.
yeah, I say that as a kind of old Black Templars player as
Mm,
well, and obviously they've got their stuff coming out, and
yeah,
so
it's
we'll
true.
see how long that lasts. I might dip into a combat patrol. Maybe I'll enter your competition and see what I can do,
Yeah,
and
yeah, man. Yeah,
there
go
might be
for
a fourth one in the works.
it. For sure, for sure. That I suppose we're kind of giving a little bit of a deadly interlude to something now for people, aren't we? Giving you a free box set, but really we're actually costing
Absolutely.
somebody a lot of money starting up a new army probably. But no, I'm glad to hear you're getting into Space Wolves. We've seen quite a few people on the Discord, so haven't we? Pick up this box.
Yeah,
I'm not
definitely.
surprised. It's some gorgeous new models, and
Mhm.
the new rules sound quite exciting from what I've heard. I played against the new Space Wolves a couple of weeks back. The new rules do look fun.
And
The
they're
new
such nice
Grimnar model
miniatures
as
as well.
well.
They've not gone
Oh,
silly 2011, you know,
Yeah.
Frosty McFrostface with his Wolfie McWolf gun and stuff like that.
That's it.
It's like almost like second edition Space Wolves again. The new Blood Claws are brilliant. The Grey Hunters are awesome. They've knocked it out of the park, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't wait to see Wolf Scouts if they eventually come. See what they've done with those.
Yeah, well, you know, it might be something that pops up in our predictions side again, because I know we've been thinking about them for a while, haven't we, the Space Wolf Scouts? So yeah, Tom, with the so you're going to be sort of working on this, I suppose, as well as I know you got a lot on with moving house and that. But any games for you recently at all in recent times, or more just the hobbying side of things?
Not a huge amount of games recently. Where I am in Essex, one of our main local clubs is currently kind of moving. Wayland Games, sort of
Okay.
in Hockley, if you know about it, is
Yeah.
setting up a new space, which is a bit delayed. So it's meant a few
Right.
of us haven't had as many games as we wanted. But I'm finding new clubs actually at this in the last couple of weeks, so I might start checking it out. I'm keen to get the games in, but my pile of shame just seems to keep growing, literally in front of my eyes. So no matter how much time I give myself, there's always a new project in the works. So I'm sure everyone here can sympathise.
No, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Now, Si, I know you've been going through the Primaris Rubicon with your you've had an op recently, literally very recently. So I mean, I know you haven't been up to much.
Yeah, no, I've not really been doing much hobby. I was in hospital on Thursday to have one of my Space Marine organs removed. Well, it's actually my gallbladder. So yeah, I haven't really done any hobbying at all since the. Oh, actually, no, I have. Tell a lie.
Okay.
Since the last podcast, I got the Legions of Astartes Rapier, Laser Destroyer, and Quad Launcher for.
Oh, nice.
Charity. So I built those up. I did actually put some images on the Discord, Luke. I forgot to send them to you.
Okay.
My excuse is I'm still recovering from the medication. But yeah, I managed to build the two little tracked gun carriers. So I did one as the Laser Destroyer and one as the Quad Launcher. Then I built the crew as well with that new style of... It's almost like Tech Marine armour, isn't it? Like cross between Mark 6 and Mark 4. And it's a nice kit, actually. There's, all the bits are separate. There's nothing where you've got the torso and one leg moulded together with an arm. All the arms and the bits are separate, so you could use different...
That's always nice.
Heads, helmets, arms, bolt guns. There's some nice holstered bolt guns in the kit, which is cool. So I've used a bare head from the old Firstborn Sternguard Veterans kit for one of my guys. And giving them some rangefinder binoculars and stuff. Yes, it's a nice little kit. So I'm looking forward to getting them painted up as my Luna Wolves.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. I forgot to say, Tom, are you at all interested in the new edition of Heresy or?
I'm incredibly interested whether I can handle jumping into Heresy,
yeah.
because I actually jumped in at the previous, or I guess the current edition. I got the books. I didn't get the set because I was like, I want to plan my army out. I wanted to do something a bit different and not just get the starter set. And then once I planned out my Blood Angels army, I realized how much it was going to cost to put together, and I was like, oh, I'll get back to that later. And then it just never took off. So I don't know. But this set is so cool, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. It's such an interesting set, and I think they've done such an interesting job of doing something different with the Saturnine armor pattern, putting it out there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really caught a lot of people's attention, especially people like me.
I don't know, Si, you're going to be dipping into it, aren't you? Because you've got somebody locally you're going to be able to play with.
I'm 90% sure I'm going to get the box, but then they've thrown me a little bit of a curveball with the Sunday preview article because they're releasing the Mark II Space Marines at the same time. So I was thinking, should I just get the rulebook and the Mark II guys, and that's going to tide me over? But then I was like, yeah, but I really want the Terminators and the Dreadnought, and so it's whether I can resist the big box or not. I need to have a think about it, really.
I was going to say,
I think it's really Sorry, go on.
No, I'm
go
just
on, Tom.
saying it. I'm just mulling over it, to be honest.
I think it's really interesting they've put the Crusade armor out as its own separate set. Like they've known that there's an audience who just want that new Crusade armor, but they've kept all the goodies for the main launch set, and that is a staple set, isn't it? It's going to be just continuously available. It's not a special launch one.
It's not a limited edition box. Apparently, it's going to be a stock item like Age of Darkness. So yeah,
which for me means I think I'm more happy letting it sit. Yeah, because I know it's always going to be in print, so to speak.
Yeah,
maybe not for the first few weeks.
I think I'm in the same boat there, Tom, to be fair, because I think getting hyped at first about, or like I was very much getting hyped about like when the models were revealed, because I do love the Saturnine stuff. I think that's awesome. But seeing how they're like adding on all this gump for the rules and stuff, and I was hesitant to get into it anyway. And then, like you said, once you tot up everything, I mean, I know we've got this new set, so you could just purchase that. But if you want to go into your own chapter and get some of the upgrade sprues and things, and some of the unique units for those chapters, it can be very expensive, heresy. But same as you,
I
because
suppose it depends on how far you go, because the box sets
Yeah,
go off
exactly.
a lot of discount. So
Yeah.
if you're going to use all the stuff in the box set eventually, or you're eventually going to buy all that stuff, then I would say get the box set. So to me, it's whether I'm thinking to myself, am I going to use the big gun platform? Am I going to use 6 Saturnine Terminators? That's the question. I know I'll use the Mark II guys. So, yeah, I need to have a think this week.
You can usually get a good portion of your money back by selling like half the box
Yeah,
out
true.
there.
Yeah,
I
that's
found
the
with
other
most
option.
launch sets. So if you didn't want, like you say, if you only wanted 3 of the Saturnine Terminators, you probably could make, a good amount of change selling half of bits back without too much issue. So
Yeah, I did
like you
consider
say,
that.
it's good
Maybe
value.
the gun platform and 3 Terminators I could maybe sell on. So that's an option.
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah. I should have said at the start, guys. By the way, noticeably we have no Benergy tonight. He's out of action, so hopefully he'll be back, obviously, for our big 50th episode. But we wish you well, Ben. We'll see you next time. But yeah, I mean, other than sort of the big heresy release coming, in terms of what I've been up to, I think I said last time, sorry, but I can't remember. I was going to be working on the new Kill Team set, the newest
Yes.
Kill Team set.
Yeah,
So,
the Typhon one, was it?
Typhon, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been sort of up to the last couple of weeks, getting that sort of steady on, sort of getting that painted
Yeah,
up.
sorry, if you hear me cry, like whinging, it's when I'm moving my chair, it's painful.
Yeah.
I thought it was your wallet there for a minute, just crying out in pain.
Well, yeah, it will be.
It was GW getting sign his side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so obviously getting the I kind of shared this set with a friend, so I've my housemate actually, but I kept, obviously I'm doing Tyranids this year, so I've kept the Ravener half of the set, the new Raveners, or Superior Raveners or something they're calling them in 40k, their rules in Warhammer 40,000, so I'm going to go by that, but painted my side of the setup and built them, obviously. In person, I've got to be honest, these models are even nicer than when we'd seen them on previews and things, so I'm really happy with these, and they're really quite big, especially compared to the old Raveners. So really enjoyed painting these little guys up, and then of course the terrain from the set as well, which I've really made pop as well for the
Wow.
board.
Yeah, you've done that quick.
Yeah, I know, mate. as always.
Really nice.
Yeah, so they're going to obviously got these painted up, and then the end of last week got a first game of Typhon in. So we didn't do one of the actual scenarios from the book, but I'm hoping the next one I do we will, because there's some cool new scenarios in it where you can actually have like an AI additional AI Tyranids just sort of swarming the board and popping out of these spawn holes.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
and they sort of act as AI as well as the two teams that are fighting each other. And you've got like a D6 table for different things, so you can have the Von Ryans, Leapers, PA, like Termagants, Hormagants, and there's a couple of other obviously things in the Raveners, I think maybe at normal Raveners. So there's a few things that can pop in. We're going to try and do one of those at some point soon, so excited to try that. But we did, as part of we're doing a Warhammer 40,000 campaign at the moment, Tom. So it's been a long running one, and we're currently in a new phase of it. And the Tyranids have now entered into the campaign, so it's like a new hive fleet has arrived to the planets that we've been fighting on. So and the first point of contact for my fleet was for the Ravener kill team, like the scout party ahead of things to drop down. And the newish Khorne Goremongers kill team. My friend Finn used those against the new Raveners. Oh, such a cool game. This was my first kind of proper game using all of the rules for kill team as well. So some of the new kill team rules, if you're not familiar, when you're actually deploying your models. I think Sai was it the auxiliary or whatever it was with the jetpacks in the original set for the new edition, and then you had like
Tempestus Aquilons, the Silence
that's
and
it.
Jetpacks.
Yeah, I couldn't remember their actual names, and then you had the Vespids. So they're the same. When they spawn in, you can actually have like markers on the battlefield for where they're going to drop in from the sky.
Oh
And
yeah,
if you don't spawn them in every round, they like you can add new ones in. So it's kind of cool. It's like they're advancing over the battlefield, but in the sky kind of thing. And it's similar for the new Ravana team, but it's from underground. So obviously, like you're making tunnels with each battle round with your tokens, and all of your effects apply to enemy models when they're on top of these tunnels. So you get all of your extra buffs and stuff if you can draw your opponent in towards your tunnels. And it's such a cool gameplay kind of like thing that they've added in and made the game so fun. It's probably one of the most fun games of Warhammer I've had this year
awesome.
because of the new game design. I thought it was really clever. And of course, each of the Raveners have their own gimmicks and all that sort of stuff. And the Goremongers were very scary, especially this guy in the middle here with this big axe. He would not die, and just anything he came into contact with, he killed very quickly. So yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, and obviously over on our Morehammer Discord, if you've played some of the new kill team, because I'd love to chat to some people about it who have managed to get a game in, because I think it's really cool. I think the additions they haven't overcomplicated it. They've kept the core rules, which were good anyway, and they've just added some of these fun extra fluffy things to the game, which make it really good.
Symbols and stuff, haven't they, for distance, and just put normal measurements in.
And that's exactly. I think if you've got a good game, just I think that's the way to go. And the kill team design team have done bang on with that. So a shout out to those guys. But yeah, that's the main things I've been up to really in the last couple of weeks. And oh yes, I did mention it to you. I finally finished Space Marine 2. As in video game Space Marine 2. It's only been, what was it, October last year it came out, I think?
Yeah.
September, October.
It's like a fine wine, though. It deserves to be enjoyed at a slow pace if you want to.
It really does. Have you played it, Tom? Or
I've played it. Admittedly, I played through the campaign, played some online stuff when it first launched, and then I've kind of left it sitting. And I know there's so much DLC that's come out, but I think I'll probably go back to it now. It's been a few months since that stuff came out.
You got the new Siege mode
You're probably
as well,
picking a good
now,
time actually, because they've just released a new mode called Siege mode, which is basically like Horde mode, waves and like endless waves of enemies and stuff. They've added a lot of DLC to it, yeah.
Yeah, which is like the dream mode. Like when we thought about Space Marine 2, I don't know about you guys, but to me, a Horde mode, Space Marines against Tyranids, is literally what I would love to play for hours and hours and hours. So I might boot it up this Friday.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to suggest it, Si, but it might be we end up doing an early episode for 50 to react to the summer preview. Yeah. Which means we might have space the following week. And the actual prize giveaway we're doing for episode 50, I did put on the post that it ends on the following Tuesday when we'd usually sort of release the episode. So it might be we do maybe some sort of stream or something. Maybe we could do Space Marine 2 for like a couple of hours if you fancied it. Try the new Siege mode and stuff.
Laugh at how terrible I am.
Yeah, I'm sure none of us will be very good at it. And Tom, you can tag along if you feel like it. But
sure.
if you're set up to be able to do it, but yeah, that'd be pretty cool, maybe to be able to do that. But since you said you've completed it, haven't you, Tom? So the game.
Yeah, done the main story and that, which I think there's. Yeah, I won't say anything in case people haven't got around to it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to spoil it for people, but I applaud you, Si, for like not giving away to me what actually happens in the final chapter.
I wanted you to play it, so I mentioned that there's like a cinematic moment where you end up taking control in kind of a cutscene.
Hold up the banner. That's not really because that's in the trailer. That pretty epic. So I'm a big Ultramarines fan anyway, but someone turns up, shall we say. And I was kind of hoping it might happen, and it did. And that moment is just like, it's very, very cool. I was nerding out very much at that. It's a very, very cool moment. That whole final chapter of the game is epic. Just some really cool set scenes. Never ever thought as a Warhammer fan we'd get anything like that in any sort of media.
Job with the campaign, to be fair,
yeah, very cool.
And we know officially they've already started work on Space Marine 3 as well.
Yes.
So it's many years away, but still, it's I think that will close off a a trilogy, so to speak, and then they'll probably work on some other things after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, but very cool. I'm glad I finally finished it and caught up with that. It turned out I was only a couple of chapters away in the end, so it's just you don't know, do you, as you're playing through things. But yeah, so I'm glad to have that out of the way. But I think that's will do us probably for the hobby updates. It's good to catch up with you, Tom, as well, and what you've been up to. We haven't got Ben with us to do our intro for the news, but as Si, I know you usually take the place anyway. What is it time for?
And now the news.
It's
Like
time
Ben,
for the
but I'll give it a
news. we can't replace Ben sadly for that, can we? But he's not here, so we can't do it.
He's
sadly.
here in spirit. He's here in
He
spirit.
is here in spirit, yeah. Yes, on to a few of the review. There isn't much really, to be honest, because I think they're saving everything for this summer preview coming
Yeah.
up. We've got a couple of things. I'm going to start with the bad. I think, Si, you agree with me on this one. We'll see what you think, Tom.
I think I know what you're going to put on the screen.
Yeah. It's the
Is it Warhammer Underpants?
Yes, it is, yeah. So Warhammer Underworlds, as if the new edition didn't need any help.
Oh.
We have a new, another Chaos Mortal Warband, by the way, which how many have we had of these same sort of looking Chaos Warbands? Like, I think they really need to keep mixing it up. But these are some of the worst sculpts I've seen in a while, I think.
On the Discord, weren't we? When you look back at warbands like Hexbane's Hunters, the Skaven that came with Gnarlwood, the Sons of Velmorn, even going back as far as Thundrix Profiteers and stuff like that, these are just sort of so generic and a little bit bland. And you know, some of the older warbands are really spectacular. There were some of the best miniatures in Games Workshop's range, not even Warhammer Underworlds. You know, there were some stunning minis. But these ones are just like, the poses look a little bit awkward. It's almost like they've got a library of poses somewhere in some sort of digital library, and they take one of these generic poses and tweak it slightly and, you know, flavour it into a different theme or whatever. I mean, I don't think the paint job helps on these, and fair play to Louise Sugden. She did a video where she digitally painted over these to try and improve them. And a lot of people were saying in the comments, oh yeah, that's much better. But I watched the video and I thought, well, no, they still look pants, to be honest. I mean, I know it's just my
these
opinion.
Two are
but
terrible. I'm sorry.
for me, these
the
are
faces are
a big swing and a miss. The faces, I get where they're going with the idea,
yeah.
but they just they look like something Games Workshop would have released 15, 20 years ago. Not now.
I'm sorry to whoever has designed these, because I don't like to slate it, but I know what they've tried to do. They've tried to go with that kind of like horror, kind of pulled back mouth with the spiky teeth coming out, but the face modelling has not come out right, and the guy on the left here looks like his face is melting.
It's like
they've
the
not
old
come out
plastic
right.
catachans. It's like, oh, you know, it reminds me of them a little bit.
And even the hound looks a bit blocky to me in terms of like the kind of build of the hound, but I don't know. No, not the best looking models, and a bit obviously, like you say, just not the most. A bit
They
uninspiring.
look a bit push fit starter set, target store board game mini, rather than a premium warband you would expect.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you think, Tom? Are you on the same train here, thought here, or you might like them? I don't know.
Yeah, when I saw them, I'm always glad when games try something a little bit different. And like you said, Size, I think it is a bit probably of a swing and a miss here. I get the impression that there's probably, like, if they did some kind of grimdark artwork for Age of Sigmar based on these, it would look really cool. The artwork would be incredible, but I think that, like you've said, Luke, the reality of modelling means it doesn't quite hit the note here.
No,
it just looks like it's softened in the mold a bit too much.
Yeah,
and
a bit odd.
I mean, I like the lore behind them. I like the idea of they're not fighting at the forefront of Khorne's attacks. They're going up, mopping up afterwards, and taking heads and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. And then I saw the miniatures, and they just don't live up to the idea of what that warband should be. I don't think.
I think maybe like a returning sort of new take on the original actual Khorne warriors sort of would have suited these better, maybe in like the actual proper Khorne berserker sort of armor or something, and or something more along those lines.
And I think because they've set the bar so high with previous warbands as well, it's it's hard to keep getting super warbands. I suppose you have to give them some of the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, not a fan.
No.
I think the one saving grace here, if anything, is that they're going into a faction that kind of has some of the older AOS models going, like
Yeah.
some of the more mounted units are kicking around from I think the original edition and things like that.
Yeah.
So they, amongst the rest of the army and the rest of the model range, they probably all look a little bit dated now. That's not necessarily a pro, but it's it means they
Something.
probably don't stand out as much. Yeah, it's something maybe, but I do like it when they try something different. So maybe they're not a massive hit, but I do think
Have you
it's
ever
worth for them.
sort of played any Underworlds, Tom?
Back in the day, like when the
Yeah.
original set came out,
Like most
but
people.
yeah,
have.
yeah, and I had some friends who played it and stuck with it, and then I think, to be fair, Games Workshop is its own worst competition because soon you start seeing the models in another game, and then you get drawn into that one. You know, like seeing some stuff coming out for Kill Team and Necromunda, it looks really cool, and you know, you think about, oh, I want to play a good skirmish game in Warhammer, and maybe you're into more AOS than 40k, and fair enough, but you know, there's some really nice models in Necromunda and Kill Team right now, as you've shown. So it's yeah, it's kind of faded out for me. But you know, we'll see what happens. There might be another great hit faction on the way for Underworlds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
there's
sure.
going to be something in that upcoming reveal show, so hopefully there's something really good.
Yeah.
Are we due a new? When's the new edition due? Is it get to that kind of point
What,
now, or have we
Underworlds?
got?
No,
Yeah,
we've
No,
just
so it
we've
was
just had a
when
new
was it,
edition
Si?
of
Was it
Underworlds. They
right.
revamped
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game. And so they
Ember
did away
Guard?
with individual cards for fighters, and they've got like a war scroll for a warband now, and it
yeah,
invalidated everybody's previous cards and stuff like that. So that was a bit of a sting in the tail.
right.
And then all the new cards have got pictures like you can see there rather than the artwork that was on the old cards, and everyone loved the old artwork. Well, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say everybody.
No, I
So
did, yeah.
it's kind of rules wise they've cleaned it up, but from a design perspective they've sort of taken a step backwards, and it's not gone down as well as people they might have liked. I think.
Yeah, I
okay.
think they've sort of. I've played the new edition. I was really excited to kind of for it to be a thing of being able to jump back into it, and maybe get some of my old friends who played it get back into it again, because I jumped out at Beastgrave, sort of time,
Same.
and missed quite a load of boxes since then. And I thought, well, this is maybe a good jumping in point. Like Size just kind of summed up well enough without having to drag it on too long with this. Yeah, they've kind of over tidied it, and sort of whereas a lot of the fighters cards, they used to have their nice unique fluffy rules on each fighter card. They've kind of combined all the abilities onto one card now for all of the fighters in the warband. So you might have 2 or 3 models in the warband that share the same symbol with the same ability, which
I
I just
see.
didn't think was, it just didn't feel right, and it kind of got a bit confusing as to what was going on there, and it wasn't as good, I don't think, as even the old editions.
Yeah, I mean they've eliminated some of the problems with the game with the new rules, like they got rid of longboarding and stuff like that,
Yeah,
where you could sit at range and cause mayhem. But just the way they've gone about the cards and the warband setup and stuff like that, it's just it's not been very popular with a lot of
so
players.
I bounced straight off of it, sadly, when I tried it out.
I've not got into the second edition. Having all my old cards invalidated and stuff, I just thought I'm not bothering.
Yeah,
I
can't
gave them
afford
my
to
time
get
and
in
money
another
to try
game.
it out, the new set, and they didn't grab me. So there's too much other stuff, isn't there, to play and get into when it doesn't fully pull you in. So that was it really for that.
they would have. I guess these games and these changes were already in the works, but you think that what they did to ninth edition, 40k, and like just how much the retcon hurt the player base, that they'd kind of go, "Ooh, maybe we shouldn't just destroy everything," especially
Yeah,
when some things have only been out a few months. So yeah, Games Workshop, they seem to be a bit retcon heavy right now. Let's hope that
yes,
doesn't
yeah, for
stick
sure.
too much.
Yeah. But we shall move on from the world of Underworlds, and we've got a little thing that a new series of the Warhammer Heroes is coming out with some new Space Marines. It's Dark Angels, Tom.
This is great, but it's also really frustrating as well.
All right, so to elaborate there.
Well, we got the first set of Space Marine heroes, which were like firstborn Marines, but they were slightly taller, all unique poses, and some really nice miniatures. Then we got the second set, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Blood Angels Terminators. They weren't Blood Angels miniatures, but they were painted as Blood Angels. Again, all unique sculpts, new miniatures. We hadn't seen them before. Then we got Death Guard, and they were individual miniatures and stuff like that. And then the fourth one was Space Marine Kill Team Justarian or Justayan or something like that. I can't remember what they're called. So they had like a heavy intercessor, a captain, an eliminator, and a few other bits. And now they're in the new Kill Team starter set. But then they've done the same thing with these, but they've now not. I think they did it with the previous set as well. You're not guaranteed to get them all now if you buy the complete display pack of blind boxes. You could end up with 8 of him if you were really, really unlucky. And I think that's a bit of a problem. What they should have done was, yes, the blind boxes, the blind bags, it appeals to certain markets and certain collectors, especially like Japan and places like that. But if you buy a trade box or a display box with 8, they should have made it where you get all 8, because they'd sell miles more. Because people will want these individual Marines, but there's the other problem is it.
I feel like those are the new. Go on, sorry, carry on.
I was going to say it's great that we've got new sculpts for a Sternguard veteran like that one. There's a new sculpt for an incinerator. I forget what they're called now.
Incinerator. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So we've got another Marine with a Pyre Blaster. So again, that Leviathan set with your duplicates. With that, the Conquest one, the free giveaway one, you can make an individual squad now. But you're not guaranteed to get these in any way apart from a lottery, which is a little bit annoying. They might come out eventually as another Kill Team box, but they could have done so much better with this, if you know what I mean. They could have brought something. It's just another power armored Kill Team like they've done with the last one. I don't think it's different enough than the last one they've just done. That's my problem with it.
The only thing I was going to say is, I think with these sets, these are definitely aimed at kids. For like, sell them in your local newsagents or whatever, have that box on the front like you do your Pokemon cards, and have that kid go, "Oh, that's cool, can I have one, mum?" Buys them a model, and then it's like, you get that little leaflet inside that says collect all 8, it's randomized, they're going to go back to that shop, they're going to want to try and get all of them. That's what the vibe these give off to me.
To some extent it's aimed at kids, but I think there's another element to it, whereas it's aimed at new people.
Yeah.
You know, rather than just kids. It might just be aimed at people who are toying with the idea of Warhammer, or they've played the video game and think, I wouldn't mind painting one of them, but they don't want to go and buy the introductory set, or they don't want to you do the paint box where you get a free miniature and some paints and a brush. Something like this would be ideal, because you can pop it off the sprue with your fingers and not have to use clippers and stuff. But I don't know. I think
they know who they're kind of partly selling to, because otherwise they wouldn't put it on the Warhammer community page. They know there's a fan base there. Do you think though they should just put these as like a special made to order run for like people who, just trying to match up your points, people like you, Saya, who might want to grab all of the set, can just order the set and guarantee they'll get them all. But to your point, Luke, then that means the boxes go off to the stores and the newbies can have them. I don't get why Games Workshop doesn't do more made to order. It just seems like such an easy print run.
To say
that, they can still target everywhere they want to target, like the Asian market, in bookstores, news agents and stuff like that. But they could say, for a limited period only on Games Workshop's website, between now and July the 31st, if you place an order for all 8, you're guaranteed to get all 8.
I think to a certain degree though as well, like,
all the
they
people
have
who
been
want them
doing that though.
Cool, I'll have them, and then that's it.
Because recently, didn't the new two-sided kind of get started in Kill Team set have the original Warhammer Heroes Ultramarines in there, or Space Marine team, and they put them as a team in the Kill Team set.
I see. Right.
So it wouldn't surprise me if they do start doing that now anyway, in some way or form, and you just get all of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They might appear again in a Kill Team style set.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do that.
It's annoying that they're repeating the same thing again.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think they know what they've got with this, though, like Tom said, and they'll they know that people will buy lots to try and get all of them, I guess, which you can like or hate, but I mean, let's just be thankful that they don't do more of this with certain things, because TCG, if you're in people who are into card games, like, you know, that's where the hobby can go to a next level of expense. Yeah. I've been into card hobby before, and it gets very expensive for that sort of reason. So yeah,
they still haven't resolved the scalping issue around the most recent was it Era of Ruin or the latest Horus Heresy book that they put the limited edition out,
Oh, the
cancelled
last
it
one you mean
because
of the
yeah,
series,
and
Age
they
of Terror
the
series.
bots managed to bypass it again, didn't they? And order.
yeah, and fair play, they caught it, but
Yeah.
Games Workshop is very aware that there's an audience who, scalping otherwise, who want to buy this stuff as soon as possible. And I don't know why they don't kind of start leaning into more, maybe not for like limited edition books, but more made to order stuff. Like, if you order it, because they've done that with launch sets before, where
Yeah,
they put
you're
it out, it's
guaranteed to
sold
get one
out.
if you order it.
Yeah, and they've done that with the reaction. They've sold out. I can't remember which set specifically, but they've sold them out and gone, actually, if you still put an order in, we'll make them and get them out to you as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Why they can't do it with something like this, they can't do it with potentially any like release that comes out. Say, look, we'll guarantee your slot. You don't have to go and buy it off eBay or go and raid your local store and buy a whole crate of randomized boxes, because
you don't
that
have to
doesn't
be
help
there
anyone.
At 10 a.m. and 3 seconds, like furiously smashing the F5 key.
Watching the IT guy at Games Workshop just sweating buckets because everything's bursting into flames.
No, yeah, it's another one. You could have a whole episode talking about this sort of thing with GW, isn't it? But it's one of those. But no, I mean, we have got another hero series. Let us know what you guys think in the comments, and if you'll be looking to pick these ones up, and if you've picked up any of the old sets, because I've never dipped into heroes personally. I don't know about you guys, so
I've actually got the previous set of heroes from this one that's now in that Kill Team starter set. And the reason I got it is because the box was, I think I got it 59 quid with discount, and it had all that new MDF terrain in it that's pre-painted.
Yeah. That was the one,
Nice.
Plus the Kill Team, plus the Death Guard as well. It was an insane value box.
It was good.
So I just thought, you know what? The fact that I get the Death Guard, the Marines, and that terrain, I'm going to get that box. So it's in the cupboard. I've not even touched it yet.
Pile of shame.
My own worst enemy.
Right. Well, we've got one last reveal to chat about before we do these predictions. So we'll quickly have a look at. This was today, I believe. Actually, I think. Yes, it was. Yeah. Necromunda. We've got a new Palatine Enforcers book coming out, and some new Palatine Enforcers, and some new Sergeant models as well.
Great coat wearing Enforcer guy was going to turn up eventually. All right, he's not wearing a cowboy style hat, and he's not in the ash waist, but I weren't far off.
This face sculpt reminds me of I can't remember the name of the actor, but he plays Abraham in Walking Dead, and he's been in tons of war movies. I think Band of Brothers and everything. Is that what his name is? He's the ginger fellow who's got the cut. Yeah.
Oh, cool. He's in Band of Brothers as well.
That's this guy. If they ever make a series about these models and these characters, it's going to be that actor. It's got to be.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of the previous podcast episodes I listened to, but I've been saying for ages, the Enforcers need some sort of Brave Star like Marshal who can walk the cursed earth with a shotgun. Kind of like the guy off Dread, with like a big sort of trench coat and a shotgun and a cowboy style hat, like Judge, Jury, and Executioner Enforcer Marshal. And this is pretty much close to what I had in
These are pretty Judge Dredd, actually. Yeah, especially you could even paint them in the theme, couldn't you? Like the dark kind of maroon red, and then like the blacks. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
I think if I get these, I'm definitely going to use the guy on the right, but maybe give him a head from like Dogs of War or something like that. Somebody with like a cowboy style hat, give him a shotgun.
Admittedly, I'm getting more Flash Heart from Blackadder Goes Forth vibes.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, definitely.
Smoke me a kipper.
Yes.
If the only thing that annoys me about these is they painted the visors and the helmets the same colour. So if you scroll back up a little bit, Luke, sorry.
For these guys,
so unless it's my
it's a greenish tin.
It's a bit of a greenish tint, on the eyes.
But it kind of blends together. It's just a little bit odd.
Yeah, I get what you mean. You could even, if you wanted to, do a bit of a darker green for the eyes. Really, I think it'd probably work just fine. You could do any
I
colour.
think I'm gonna have to add these to my Enforcers.
Yeah, whoever's done the paint job on these is really nice, actually. And I do like the colour scheme. And you got the Cyber Mastiffs, of course, because GW doesn't seem to want to release anything Necromunda anymore without Cyber Mastiffs. So there we go. But they are cool.
Box of 10. Need a box of 10.
This set of 8 miniatures is completed by a pair of Cyber Mastiffs. So they're not coming separately. This is all coming as a one from
Yeah.
the looks of things.
Pretty cool. And that obviously, like I say, you got the sort of equipment set as well, the add-on set.
Web gun.
Yep. Some cool ones in there, actually. And the packs and things like that. Some are those? I know. I thought they were actually just dagger hands, but they have got hands on daggers. I was about to say, whoa, that's cool. But
Yeah, there's a flamer, there's a web gun, there's an auto gun, sniper rifle, and then auto pistols, I think, or
Very
stub
cool.
pistols.
And then obviously with the new Bastions of Law book. So anybody who's looking at getting into Palatine Enforcers for the for Necromunda, that'll be coming soon enough. But,
It'll be interesting
very cool.
to see if that book contains all the enforcer rules in there, or it's just going to be these, because that'll be annoying, because there's also the Book of Judgment, so if you're going to need both books,
That's true.
that'll be a pain. But if
Well,
you've consolidated everything into one book, into
Yeah.
this new one, that's pretty cool.
I was wondering that, but then, because, yeah, it does actually say that they are like the warriors for hire from House Helmore, yeah, personal army. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, like you say, Si, what you like.
Looks
I
like
like
it
the
might
guy
be
with the grenade.
standalone.
Yeah.
He's got the pin on his thumb. He's just popped the pin out of the grenade.
Because a lot of what they've been doing, isn't it, for Necromunda over the last year, for a lot of the main houses, they've been releasing like these side sort of gangs that you can take guns for hire kind of thing for certain houses. So I'm guessing
there's
that's
a
kind of
rumor
what these
engine
are as
last
well.
week for these. I put it up on the Discord, and I said it was an enforcer pouch and grenade because it was a perfect match. So they've only left it a week, and then we've seen them.
Yes. Okay, well, I mean, that ticks off sort of news, guys. Then we've got to jump into the big topic for this week's episode, which is the preview for the Big Summer Preview. And this, aside from what we would think is obviously going to be the big Age of Sigmar reveal, which I'm guessing is going to be a separate kind of thing, this is what they're listing as being included for in terms of games for the event. So nearly everything, by the looks of it, is going to be there, other than I think Blood Bowl maybe is the only thing I haven't noticed to be part of it.
Well,
but
yeah. But I do have a theory about Blood Bowl, but there is nothing there. You're quite right.
So I mean, how do you guys want to do it? Do you want to end with the biggie and with the Sigmar stuff and the dwarves, and then we can spend however much time we want on that last, and we'll
Let's
spin
do it in
through
the order
these
of
now.
the logos on the screen. So for anyone that's listening, the games that they're showing off stuff for is Warhammer 40,000, Horus Heresy, The Old World, Legions Imperialis, Warhammer Underworlds, and Kill Team. And then there's a little bit at the bottom that says plus. It's 10 years. Is it 10 years since Warhammer?
It is 10 years for AOS.
Announced.
For AOS, which
So they're
makes
doing
sense.
a preview for that as well. So I think if we do it in this order and say what we think is coming, and it's worth mentioning that trailer video as well, where they all put different hats on. To try and give us clues. So
the obvious teasers for Sigmar.
So what do you think then? Should we just like take turns at guessing for each thing?
Well, we can do. I mean, like if we just start with Warhammer 40k, like you said, then say at the top. I mean, recently we've sort of said what we think might be coming for some of these anyway, but obviously with Tom here as well, it'll be interesting to see what you have to add, Tom. But I mean, I think what was the only one? Salamanders, I think, was the only one on the actual road map. We always do this, Tom, because
we know that Grey Knights are getting the expanded Dread Knight thing. So the rumour is Salamanders are getting Vulcan Herstan, and then there's other rumours floating around that there's Death Watch stuff coming as well, maybe. There's supposed to be if you watch Valrak's videos, he's saying there's a White Scar character on a jet bike, and then there's a Lysander and some Assault Terminators. So I think for Warhammer 40,000, something Space Marine is a definite shoe-in. But then on the trailer video where they were showing all the different hats, one of them put a baseball cap on, which was, I think, the Death Watch symbol, not the Grey Knight symbol. Adam put the hat on. But then there was almost like, the soft cap that you'd wear under an astronaut's helmet.
Yeah.
He had one of those on, and that made me think Leagues of Votann.
Well, that was the only thing I was going to mention, is because a lot of the other rumours I've seen floating around are Votann.
I think we're going to get a new character for Leagues of Votann, because there's a rumour engine with a weapon. So either a new character or maybe a vehicle for Leagues of Votann. And then the other thing that threw me as well was the pirate hat. So one of them had a pirate hat on. I think it was Eddie. Yeah, the Skull and Crossbones pirate hat on. So that could be for something else entirely. It could be for Old World. It could be for Age of Sigmar, or it could be for Kill Team. But the other thing that I've been mentioning before is Eldar Corsairs and Prince Ariel. So I wonder, is it Space Pirates, is it Eldar, or is it Orc Freebooters?
That's what I think, possibly.
Captain
Yeah.
Badrook's been long gone out of the range now. It's still a fantastic miniature, by the way, but Badrook and the Freebooters, could they come back? Could they be a kill team, or could they be something for 40k?
Yeah, see, that
So
could
the
easily
pirate
be kill
one
team,
got me
yeah.
thinking, is it Eldar Corsairs and a new Prince Ariel, or is it Orc Freebooters?
I mean, the only thing I'd add to that is I doubt kill team, because they've only just recently had the Tank Busters kill team for Orcs.
Yeah, so I don't think it's kill team either, which is why
So
I
likely
mentioned it for
40k. But yeah, very big possibility. Tom, I'm guessing that's sort of along the lines of what you were thinking, maybe, unless you got anything else to throw in you think could be a possibility.
For 40k specifically, I think it's probably. I think the Salamanders and Imperial Fists might take the limelight.
Yeah.
I just because I look back at that roadmap, I just double checked it. There is that Imperial Fist logo, so I think you're in the right lines of a New Lysander, Assault Terminators, and there'll be like a character and then a unit to go with it, probably.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
That gets the ball rolling on the outstanding Astartes. But I don't know, actually. Otherwise, I didn't really think too much about the meaning of the hat. So, I mean, Votan could be a big surprise, maybe. Is expected. So, yeah. But my money's on probably like Space Marines, because
Yeah.
Space Marines kind of
I think
still
that's
like
primarily
limelight,
what we're
don't
going to end up seeing. Yeah, I would not be surprised if we just saw that, to be honest. But swiftly moving on, because obviously the one of the big things this year is the new edition of Warhammer Horus Heresy. Looks like we're already going to be getting the next steps for this. And I completely forgot, but I can get it up here. There is actually a little roadmap they've already put out, obviously, for the rest of this year.
A digital roadmap.
Yes. So July, Legacies of the Age of Darkness PDF plus Talons of the Emperor Army List. August, Militia Imperialis. Then September, you're getting the Demons of Ruinstorm stuff again, so they're redoing that for the new edition. October, Black Shields, and Shattered Legions Army List. And then in November, the last one on there, it's saying Zone Mortalis rules. So they've kind of laid out what's sort of coming there. So you might get an idea of sort of any new miniature things we might get revealed. I don't know what you guys think for that. I also have up the only other sort of tidbit we have, which is the bottom of the article from the Horus Heresy Reveal show.
You've led me nicely onto that. So that one, that's a cataphracted character.
That is that is cataphractic.
So looking at that, I think it's a new character for cataphracted Terminators. There might be a new kit. I mean, they could update that kit to make them slightly bigger. But I think that might be a character, given that he's holding some sort of Neo-Volkite pistol. But then again, it could be an upgrade for the squad. I don't know.
If it's drop site... Sorry, go on, Si. Sorry.
I was going to say, I don't think we'll see anything for the Breaches or the Assault Squad unless they show them off in full. So that could be a bit of a cop-out for them. They could say, oh, we previewed the Breacher and the Assault Marines. Here's the squad in full. You know, that would be a reveal, and they could get away with that. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind too much, because I think those Mark II Assault Marines look absolutely amazing from what we've seen of that single miniature. So if it is just that and this character, I probably wouldn't complain. Maybe they'll show off the glaive as well, because there's a plastic Fellblade coming, so maybe they can show off the glaive, because it's only, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just a different turret, isn't it, with the main weapon?
I think a couple
of different armaments, but it could be the same kit, if you know what I mean. And then, I don't know, maybe that Custodes character at the bottom, would they go that far? Because they've said Talons of the Emperor is a way out. And so I don't think we'll see anything related to that just yet.
Yeah, so we know there's new Custodes models coming at some point.
Could be anything for Heresy. They want to move a lot of stuff from resin to plastic, so, I mean, take your pick.
And then, obviously, there is also the tease in the middle here of what looks to possibly be Skitarii. For
something
Heresy
Mars,
as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, endless possibilities with what they can do now for Heresy with it being a new edition. We've just read out kind of the roadmap and what's coming, so it could be any of that stuff really. They might even just tease a the whole bunch of it, to be honest, and lay out the rest of the
Yeah,
year.
I mean, they could surprise us. Wish list would be a plastic Proteus land speeder. That would be amazing.
Well, there you go.
I do wonder though if because it's the drop site massacre, it's the Ispan 5 supplement coming out sooner rather than later. I wonder if they'll lean into, because your point about Cataphracti, obviously Iron Hands Morlocks being a big focus of that.
Oh,
Will they
yeah.
go back to, because you need those to go with Ferrous Manors? Do you think they'll go back and look at the individual units that came out there, like the first Sonic Marines and things like that, do a new kit for those? And
That's a
the
good shout.
cacophony and things. So it might be they go back to some of those Forge World kits, maybe.
Yeah, like Gorgon,
and just focus
Gorgon
on
Terminators as well.
Gorgon. Is it? Where did I get Morlocks from? Is that right? Or
Yeah, I think
they're the
name
first
of
company.
his bodyguard is the Morlocks, isn't it? But then
That's
the
it.
Terminator pattern is Gorgon Terminator armor. I think I might be
That's
wrong
it.
with Iron Hands players. But then you've
Which
got
could be
Medusan Immortals as well. They could
Yeah.
bring them into plastic because they're a stunning kit.
So that might be it. And especially if they've got a Shattered Legions army list, you're going to want some special units to kind of tailor together for those. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's a
it's going to
great
be
shout,
like
actually,
a show off for kind of. I listened to Fulgrim, that novel recently, and obviously that's where it all kind of comes together.
cool.
And you get the Sonic Marines, you get the Iron Hands Terminators just batching it out, and there's a load of cool stuff in there. So
Nice. Yeah, endless possibilities for that. Well, Heresy fans look forward to that. But back to our list of games, and next it is Warhammer the Old World, which, man, they are just smashing stuff out for this game system. We just had Grand Cathay, followed shortly after Beastmen and Wood Elves, right within the space of a couple of months, if that. All three of those.
So, Old World, my guess is it's not an army. There's not going to be an army
Campaign
reveal.
expansion?
This is going to be a campaign expansion, I think. Yeah,
Hopefully.
makes sense.
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
what would be my guess. A campaign book.
We just had that
the
cool
first
match
of
play
maybe
book, haven't
like
we? So it makes
a
sense.
series of campaign books. I think would be the and then they might do a character for go back to right to the start. Maybe a Bretonian character or a Tomb King's character. Perhaps,
That makes
I don't know.
sense.
But yeah, a campaign book would be my guess.
You think we'll get a Kislev teaser, like an actual model show off? Kislev?
Possibly, yeah. Or it could be something they might announce that the first of the legacy factions is underway and they're working on, I don't know, Dark Elves or something like that. You never know. But yeah, Kislev, they've got to do it eventually, haven't they? They put that much work into it, it'd be a shame for it never to come.
I suppose, though, as well, I didn't even mention this thinking about this, just looking at this now. Most of the games are in this summer preview. They said it's going to be big. There's going to be lots of big reveals, which I know they always say that. But most of our roadmaps have come to an end. Do we think we'll kind of get an update on those for each of these games? Do you think we'll
That's a
actually
good
get
point,
that
yeah,
for
it
the
could-
second half of the year? A good chance, I think we might do.
I've just remembered something actually that I was thinking about the other day. You know the hats where you got all the pirate hats and then the sort of wasn't like a cowboy hat. It was more like a Indiana Jones fedora style hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dogs of War for Empire, mercenaries.
Oh, yeah.
That could be a nice addition
Oh yeah.
to the Empire because they were like mercenaries, weren't they? The old Dogs of War. Ben will be freaking out right now if it is Dogs of War because I know he absolutely loves them.
Well, aren't the Imperial Dwarves in the roster, and they've got Dogs of War background. Maybe that
There's something like that, yeah. And also, they just said in the Cathay one as well, in the second Cathay journal, there's going to be rules for allying them with Empire mercenaries as well. So
there we go. Maybe yeah.
could be Dogs of War might be on the way for the Empire. That would be. I mean, Ben will just be like exploding if that's the case. And
The other
I
thing
hope
you were
it's true
saying,
just for him.
I don't think you mentioned it so far, Simon. I think you were saying about a Blood Bowl team, but you were saying in the Discord about the pirates, the undead pirates.
There was a Tomb King's like Egyptian style headdress. So I'm thinking Khemri Blood Bowl team, but then I was all set for mentioning that tonight until I looked at the list of games and I realised Blood Bowl's not there.
Yeah.
So maybe it is. I was saying about a campaign, and they're going back to the beginning and maybe release a character for the Tomb Kings and a character for the Bretonians, and there's a new campaign book. Or it could be something entirely. It could be Necrons. You know what Games Workshop are like. Egyptian headdress. It might be a new Trezin.
Could be. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be really excited if that's what they're doing, and that probably is what they're doing, with just do these small campaign expansions focused on a certain battle or whatever, or a certain point in time within the old world, and then, like you said, say one or two character models or units specific to that time for certain armies alongside that, brilliant. If they do like multiple of those over the next like half a year or so until we get another new army or something, I'm more than happy with that. I think that's what the game needs now.
It could be a campaign book, and then they announced the second Arcane Journal for each faction. You know, it might be Arcane Journal number 2 for Tomb King's, that headdress. It could have been anything.
I know Ben was saying that, wasn't he? Because I know he's not here, so I'll shout him out for that. He was saying his theory was he thought they might do second Arcane Journals for each army. I'm not so sure they'll do that personally, but I think it'll be more like what you've said. So I think we'll get campaign books, and then those books maybe have added rules, and you have new armies of renown for the 2 factions or something in those. I think that's more likely, but yes, very cool. So Old World, let us know in the comments, guys, what you think, what you'd like to see.
World, Tom?
Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm hovering around it. I'm getting ready to jump into a dwarf action, but just to add to your point, I do think they need to start rolling the story on. So a campaign book really does catch my interest, because they've admitted that the story is the thing they want to tell here. They want to, they've talked about why demons aren't in the game yet, because they haven't got to that part in the story. So I think they need to kind of open that up, tell us why they've gone back 200 years, who are the main characters, who don't want to focus on. So a campaign book, I think, definitely is needed at this point.
That's what I've been saying, to be fair. Like, I do like the new rules are really nice to clean up, and of sort of, I think, what is it, Sixth, isn't it? They're mostly based on, I think. I can't remember now. Ben would know if he was here.
Yeah, it's a mixture. There's a lot of 6 in there, though.
Yeah.
And some
but I really do like the new rules, and I'm enjoying it, but I do feel like I need something added extra in there, and like you say, a bit more on the lore and a bit more building on that would be good. So look forward to that. Warhammer Heresy Imperialis, of course, that's they've got this on here. We can always hope for the mini Primarch side, but now that mention's out of the way. But other than that, obviously they haven't got the Saturnine stuff yet.
It could be anything. I mean, it might just be a campaign book. We've had Dark Mechanicum, haven't we? We've had Mechanicum. We've got the Solar Auxilia. Could it be Orcs and Eldar, maybe? I doubt it, but
I don't. I think they'd make a bigger deal out of it, wouldn't they?
I think it might just be more units for Space Marines, maybe a new Titan or something like that. I don't know. Maybe
what about
Stormbird,
like the new Horus Heresy
Stormbird
stuff
in
being
epic
added
scale.
to it, like mini versions, so like the Saturnine stuff?
Yeah,
would that be
that's a good
something
shout.
we'd see added in there?
Saturnine Dreadnought, Saturnine Terminators in epic scale, perhaps.
We've seen it happen a lot with Imperialis. They've just followed up what's been released in Heresy, because we had it with the Auxilia, with the Mechanicum. They just added mini versions to Imperialis. So
you never know. I mean, I hope it's something cool. I do like epic, so fingers crossed.
it's cool.
It might be cool to get some new flyers in as well. I don't know how people feel about flyers, but obviously inheriting the Aeronautica range to a large extent and fleshing it out from there, I think there's probably some other, probably on the Auxilia side, where we can add some stuff. But saying that, Custodes were on our minds with Horus Heresy. Maybe Custodes might make an appearance. There might be some.
Yeah, it could be that.
That's true. Yeah,
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's
Not
a
a bad
really
shout.
good guess, actually.
I personally, I'd love to see like the DSE array. I just want them to create the biggest Titan and finally just cap it off. Some 150 quid monster, and then just let us have our Titan battles.
Nice, I
that would
love
be
it.
immense.
Moving swiftly on though, we have Warhammer Underworlds. I mean, again, this could sort of be anything. It's going to be another couple of warbands, I'm guessing. Maybe is this where we get the next first actual box with 2 warbands since Ember Guard, probably, because it's been a while.
Yeah, it could be a new box. Like you say, two warbands and a couple of rivals decks, or it might just be a warband. Who knows?
Silver Guard.
Hopefully,
yeah.
Maybe they go back to some of the old factions that they've not done one for a while, and do a warband based on them. I mean, who've not had a Underworld's warband for ages? Caradron.
Yeah. Is there any chance we get a crossover with what we're going to talk about in a minute? So Legions of Asgore.
I was thinking that maybe they bring a precursor in and say, look, you can play him not just in AOS, but you can also play in Underworlds.
It'd be very typical of GW, wouldn't it? Like,
yeah, so, that'd be a good one actually.
Maybe we'll have to see. But yeah, other than that, it could be anything. Let us know what you'd love to see for Underworlds in terms of warbands in the comments, guys. And same thing, I suppose, for Kill Team, except for, I mean, so we've had some guesses what could be coming for this. I mean, you've said Space Wolves, Scouts still are due to be updated, so.
Yeah, I mean, now that Adam Troke's put that hat on, which I think had the Death Watch logo on it, because it's like the Inquisition symbol with the skull and crossbones. What about a Death Watch Kill Team? You know, like the old Kill Team Cassian that came in Death
That
Watch
was cool,
Overkill.
that was a very cool Kill
A
Team.
Primaris Death Watch Kill Team against... what did I say the other day? It was the Tau stealth suits. I said would be a brilliant one.
Yeah. Because
So
they
you could have
need
Death
probably
Watch
new
against
models,
Tau
so.
XV-15 stealth suits, or Death Watch versus Necrons. Have Necrons had a kill team recently? When was the last one? Right at the beginning
They
of
had
Galadark, was
the
it?
Hex, whatever they're called,
Hex
ones with
marks
the
ones.
Technomancer and the new
Was
Death
that
Marks.
the one against the Kazakin? Was it?
I
Going back
can't
to that
remember. Were they
It was
alone
around about
release?
that
I
time,
can't
wasn't it? It
remember.
was on the Galadark.
Yes, yeah.
It's a
So
while
around
back.
that
though.
time.
So Kill Team.
But yeah, that was the last one.
I mean,
yeah.
for me, Death Watch,
Mm.
Space Wolf Scouts, Tau, and maybe Necrons. I'm guessing.
Anything like that, yeah. Anything you'd like to see, Tom, or you think could be there?
I mean, how much more better can you get with Kill Team than actually having Kill Team back in it, so to speak? So I think they definitely could benefit from a new set of models. Are they? This is where I'm being a bit naive. Are they under agents now? They don't have their own codex anymore.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Yeah, they don't
'cause
have their own individual codex, no.
Yeah, I think
And
you can
maybe-
only
would be a
play them
nice
under
place
that
to
now.
get away with releasing the miniatures.
This could be a
So,
good
yeah.
way to bring something else out.
I mean, then I suppose the other thing I didn't even think about is we've already said that you've possibly got Imperial Fists and Salamanders coming to 40k. Could you see some introduction to that through Kill Team? I mean, it'd be really cool to see a Salamanders Kill Team with like different flamer weapons and stuff like that going on. That could be pretty sweet. Maybe, I don't know. But that's kind of wish listing at this point.
Maybe it's a white sky on a bike and he just runs through the corridors at full speed, just ramming
Well, we've
things.
had one in the Kill Team before.
I was going to say
Kill Team
Cassian
had one.
yeah, that dude's cool in there, isn't he? So, well, actually, he was on 20 Questions at one point, wasn't he? Back when we used to do it, I think.
Subadai, was he?
Yeah, something like
He's
that.
called
Yeah.
Subadai, yeah.
So basically, sounds like Subaru, yeah. But no, it's very very cool model. But could see something like that. That would be pretty sweet. So I think we've ticked off all of the things on that list. So we come to the big one, of course. All
I
of
should
the hints
mention
are out
Catachan
there.
Jungle Fighters as well. One
Of
day.
course, because you've always
will
got to get
bring
that
them.
in. Yeah, Catachan. One day we've got to get that Catachan Kill Team. And I will lose all my money to that. But yes, it is 10 years of Age of Sigmar, as Tom pointed out at the start, and I think they're going to be celebrating that with a new army, which quite clearly looks like it's going to be Chaos Dwarfs. I'd say returning to Sigmar, really, because they technically have been in Sigmar through Legions of Asgore, as they were called. Whether they'll keep that name, I don't know.
Yeah, Warhammer Underworlds as well. Not Underworlds, Warcry. They've been in a Warcry warband.
Yes, yeah, they are.
Horns the shoot, as they called it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one, yeah.
And what I actually have here, just so we can sort of get the conversation going with more what we might see, because obviously we've had the build up in the lore anyway. So you mentioned it only a few weeks ago anyway.
I think I mentioned it on every podcast since the last
because
9
we've
months.
had like the last episode we did, Tom. We did like what we think we might see for the rest of the year, and ironically, we've now got the summer preview coming up. So,
They watched the show. They watched the show.
Yeah. I think both. I could be speaking for Ben here, but
if
I'm
it
pretty
turns
sure.
out to have some sort of mechanical Chaos Dwarf style dreadnought thing that I mentioned, I'm going to absolutely lose my mind. Some machine style thing, that would be awesome, like brass, fire powered brass. I don't know.
Like the actual thing from Total War.
Is
Do you
the
mean
one in total? Is there something
Well,
like that in Total
there's
War?
the hero who has he's got the legs like. Do you remember Kenneth Branagh's role in Wild Wild West?
Yes.
He's like
yeah.
that. So I don't if that's what you mean, or maybe it's more dreadnoughty. But there's
I was
there's a
thinking
lot
more
in that
dreadnoughty,
game.
but I get where you're going with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A mech suit, yeah. But yeah. So Sai had predicted. You thought Sai we'd still probably get it this year. I think both me and Ben were more thinking we might not get it this year, but as it was literally 2 weeks later and we're getting it. So, but what I've managed to
I think it'll
get
be this year. It'll be the anniversary year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've got up a list of effectively when they were part of Sigmar, all of their models were Forge World only, I believe. There's a list of that stuff on here, so it might give us a good idea what they might bring back or like redo, obviously probably, but what we might actually get as part of their battle tome. So obviously, if you're not familiar with Chaos Dwarfs or Legions of Asgore, especially in the Sigmar setting, they're big on like the Bull Centaur type stuff, yeah. So you've got these two at the top here. So you got the unit of Bull Centaur renders, they're called there, and the Bull Centaur Taruk, which is I suppose your leader model for that unit in a way. I think that's inevitable, guys. We get that sort of stuff back for them, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be Bull Centaurs and some sort of leader on a Bull Centaur. I mean, the Chaos Dwarf Blood Bowl team.
Yeah.
I mean, the star players for that are just phenomenal. So
cool.
something along those lines. But with Age of Sigmar, the way they make miniatures for Age of Sigmar, they're so high class. Hopefully, it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Well, the other thing I think you mentioned it, maybe it was Ben side last episode with the predictions. You were saying like a mechanical bull as well would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was something entirely mechanical. That would be pretty sweet to see.
I think Ben mentioned it as well, actually.
Because bear in mind it's Sigmar as well, so there's a chance they might get.
I
well,
said
actually,
like some sort of dreadnought thing, and I think he might have then said, "Oh, you mean like a bull?"
Yeah. But what was I going to say? So the obviously Sigmar, what they've been doing in the last year, they've been updating every faction to have both terrain piece and endless spells. So with this being a new army, you'd have thought they'd get both here. As far as I'm aware, Chaos Dwarfs have magic, so I would think, or at least some sort of mechanical way to bring it in.
Some sort of a furnace style terrain piece would be awesome. Some sort of
or you have like
a
priest, I guess.
Fire thing would be really cool.
Because Fire Slayers already have the furnace, so.
Yeah, I think that's the old fantasy lore of metal. Do you remember when it could like melt people's armor? Like based on how heavy your armor save was, that was how much damage you took and things. I'm getting that feel because they're known for their foundries and their armories, so it's going to be something like that, I think.
Yeah,
it's actually just occurred to me, and I did mention this last episode as a prediction myself. They might cross over one or two bits with Fire Slayers because I do think they have a little bit of crossover, because they've already got their forge piece. So they might actually share that as a terrain feature. So you could buy it, and they might actually almost re-release it. You know, like they did earlier in the year, side with the Nine Taunt and Soulblight having the same terrain pieces, but you could flip them over to like have the different style for each faction. So maybe they do something like that. And then the only other thing that occurred to me is that endless spells, they have a lot of crossover as well with Beasts of Chaos, and we lost Beasts of Chaos from Sigmar. And they used to have endless spells. They used to have that awesome endless spells. The Flaming Bull endless spell was awesome. It wouldn't surprise me if we maybe got some of that back for them as well. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But other stuff they've got, you've got the Chaos Siege Gargant, which I believe we've still got Gargants anyway. So whether we get that or not, I'm not so sure. Maybe. We've got then you're going into more like your actual infantry. You got the Demon Smiths. They got way more than I remembered, actually, to be honest here. So
yeah, I think we're going to get like your classic big hat wearing axe and shield guys, or spear and shield guys, and then I think I'd hope some kind of blunderbush unit or equivalent of like a ranged unit.
They got the Death Streaker rocket launcher here.
Rocket launchers, something along that line, an artillery piece.
Because the new Blood Bowl team, they've got that rocket guy in there, haven't they? So they very much like their
fires the ball out of his blunderbuss. Yeah.
Do you think you'll see some sort of evolution of the Hell Cannon come to AOS?
Could well do. I think that's actually somewhere. I mean, you got this Dreadquake mortar that used to be a model on there, so you might get some crossover and get some like ogre models in there as well, because they usually kind of cross over with that, don't they? You got Drazoth the Ashen. He used to be one of their main characters, right, on top of his bull. I'm
kind of hoping it's all terrible, so I don't have to buy it.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be, considering how the track record of the Sigmar designers for models just outstanding. But I'm very excited to see. I think some of their character models are going to be something to behold if it goes anything by what these Forge World models were like.
I think it all hinges on the hats, because the Horn of
Yes.
Hashut leader has this kind of ball helmet thing, which isn't the same, obviously the same as what Chaos Dwarfs have. They have these chimney hats. So if they've got rid of the chimney hats, I think people are going to riot.
Yeah.
So as long as they've got the chimney hats, that's the main thing.
Yes, indeed. So we'll have to see what their rendition of that is, won't we? You got plenty of all the normal infantry, the Infernal Guard, what they used to call them. So you got different versions of that, and then you've got like the ranged units as well. These are almost, I guess, like they're kind of more elite infantry. So you got the Infernal Guard, Fireglaves, and Ironsworn there, and they've got like the forge helmets on. So the full face helmets.
I think Tom's right with the hats. I mean, they did 2 different top hats on the trailer, and the hats were getting bigger and bigger. So I do think we're going to see big hats again. Because, like he said, they'll riot if there's no top hats.
More along the old world lines, as opposed to what these were.
It's interesting though, because obviously Creative Assembly, you guys were talking about this, about how much of an influence that game has been, the Total War game, on some of the faction in the old world. Obviously Cathay, heavily shaped by that. It literally is the concept art. They've taken that, especially with I can't remember her name, but the dragon character.
Mao Ying, is it, or something like that?
Mao Ying, that's it. Kislev, the same thing, because they were working together on this originally.
Yeah,
I think they've done the same with the Chaos Dwarfs. I think it's going to look.
I think you're right. Yeah, because they said for Cathay, before the miniatures even got announced, they effectively created an army book for Cathay, and all the designers, though they were making a new army, and then gave it to Creative Assembly and said, "This is the army, less plastic miniatures. This is what we want." It's almost like the whole Star Wars Shadows of the Empire project. It was the movie project without the movie. They made everything that you would do with a movie and did everything apart from film the actual movie.
I think there'll be some tweaks, but I think they'll try to avoid, I think, the rework too much, because people know this faction. But I don't know. You guys were suggesting that maybe they might surprise and put Chaos Dwarfs into the old world at some point as well. Maybe that's the double whammy.
I don't think they'll do that. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, no.
But Luke was saying they could do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a possibility, but I didn't realise, to be fair, that they've said that they're doing this actual separate Sigmar preview to the rest of it, which would make sense if it was definitely Legions of Asgore.
Well, yeah, there was just a sentence in there that said, "In a brand new army rumbling for the mortal realms." So, I mean, I'm assuming based on that sentence that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's not set in stone.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it will be a big shift to what Legions of Asgore were if they go with the big, I would say, sillier hats, because like that is more always been fantasy old world.
They'll want people to recognise them as Chaos Dwarfs, though, or at least to be a development of Chaos Dwarfs. I think they'll want that recognition. Yeah. So it could be that the new Blood Bowl team kind of got top hats. You know, they're sort of a cross between, so they might have that sort of look about them. But what are they going to be called? That's the interesting one.
Yeah, will it be Legions of Asgore, or will it be just Chaos Dwarfs?
I think it's going to be something with Hashut in the name. It would be my guess.
Legions of Hashut?
Legions of Hashut, Armies of Hashut, or I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of them are like 2 words, aren't they? Like Caradron Overlords.
They don't just use dwarves anymore, do they? So it'll be something
Flesh
like
Eater Coat. So maybe it's like something Hashut or Hashut something. I have no idea.
And do you remember that there's a Warcry Bull Centaur model from one of the war bands out there? So that was the first Bull Centaur that we've seen. So presumably that will be something we see in this faction.
Yeah,
it might give us a taste as to how different they get, because obviously they're not going to be like exactly fantasy Bull Centaurs, but there's going to be that evolution. They will be Chaos Dwarves in the mortal realms. That's how it's going to feel. But like you say, Si, is it close enough that people go, yeah, those are my Chaos Dwarves, so to speak?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? There'll be that recognition, but it'll be like an evolution, like you say. I think that's a good word, actually.
I hope they do it justice, but I also hope they make it look okay, because I personally think the old Chaos Dwarf models, as fun and as recognisable as they are, I think they're very goofy.
They won't make them look like exactly like the old ones.
No, of course.
Like, the Blood Bowl team was a good evolution, so they've got high hats, but they're not top hats. They're like elaborate sort of armor plates that go high up, so it might be like that. Plus,
like almost more part of the armor.
The Hashut warband with the they were like discs. They were like a copper discs veil on one of the fighters, so they could have stuff like that, different types of armor and stuff.
Yeah, I could see it being part of the actual armor or something and just raising just above the head. That would make a lot of sense. And then I'm excited to see if they do get any of these kind of cool, like, I don't remember half of this stuff from Forge World when they had these, but some of these war machines are awesome looking. So if they kind of redo some of these,
I'm guessing they'll have a lot of like Smith style war machines and fire powered and magma powered artillery and bits and bats like that.
Yes. Tom, what you were gonna say? Sorry.
I know. I was gonna say that the if they came out and announced obviously this new faction for AOS, but they said, oh, by the way, just as a bit of a celebration, we're also going to put all the old Chaos Dwarf models on made for order for 2 weeks.
Oh.
Which way are you going?
I mean, it's very fan thing. That is like that would be very cool. I don't think they would because it would take away from the sales for
It would
their
still,
new
yeah.
armies and whatever. But like maybe for Christmas that might be something they do because then they've had a while to like sell what will inevitably be a big £150 box set of new Chaos Dwarves or whatever, and then you'll get the usual slow release of all of that separately and the new battle tome and all that. You'll get all that, but yeah. Will we get what? Do we think we'll get a brand new named character, by the way? Or do you think we'll get one of these old ones reimagined? So you've got here at the bottom of this list,
we'll get a new
Shartor the
named
Executioner, right? He was a big one for them. He's like the main named character for the Bull Centaurs. And then obviously we had at the top there, you had the Drazoth the Ashen. I don't know. Maybe we get a bit of both. Maybe we get a new character.
We might get the really, really old special character who was riding the Bull Centaur. I forget his name now. We had him on How Much once.
Yeah.
What's he called?
Also, was it the Larmian or something, Sai, as well?
Yeah.
That's
it.
I mean, yeah.
Is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
On the face.
Yeah.
I'm
So
trying to think what his name
maybe
is.
a reimagining of that would be pretty sweet. And he's made it to the Land of Sigmar or whatever, the Realm of Sigmar. Would be pretty sweet. But yeah, I mean, we've seen the kind of the possibilities. Is there anything else on your guys' minds that you'd like to see or would be pretty cool you think they might do that's not sort of linked to this list, etc.?
You mean for Chaos Dwarfs or Age of Sigmar in general?
Can be for either. Before we sort of end it out, because obviously we're sort of at the end here with the Sigmar stuff.
I guess for me, I think that the main thing I'd want to see is that they introduce what the place is in the story. Like, are they doing a new Gotrek book that kind of talks a bit about what these Chaos Dwarfs have been up to? Where are they in the realms, like, so to speak? We know which realms they're based in, so to speak. But
Slayer, yeah, that's almost guaranteed, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, Gotrek's setting a grudge there, but I'd like to see a little bit more, hopefully, from the reveal of the story, or at least in the article wrap up about what's going on here.
That's it.
Lamassu, that's it. Yes, there we go.
I knew I'd get it. Yeah, I'd like to see what's happening with the story, what's happened, why they've only come now, and I think it's still going to have hobgoblins with them as their servants and stuff like that as well. But yeah.
I'll be interested to see as well with these models if they'll be close enough to sort of be able to use for people in Old World or not, if you get what I mean. As like, obviously they're in Legends, but will people be able to cross over some of these models to use and put on square bases? I'll be interested to see how different they are for that. But
just a final question to you guys: do you think we'll get just a faction reveal, or do you think we'll get like an army box set reveal out of this?
Usually they do the army box set.
I think we'll
don't
get a
they?
box set.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just
and
a guess,
then
but I think
sometimes
we'll
you
get a
get
new
the
box
teas,
set
don't
like
you?
the Death Rattle one that we got recently.
Yeah, good shout.
Although saying that, I mean, it could go either way. Like Grand Cathay, that was a shocking reveal show because they just literally threw everything, didn't they? So I mean, it could go either way. It depends how ready they are, I guess. Yeah, it's hard to say. It also makes me wonder, Si, because we were doing the second half of the year predictions, sort of, what is there still to come? Because we were saying, will there be some sort of next edition of a game for the end of this year, or will they just fill it with some big army releases? So, and this might be the first of that, you know.
There's rumours of a new Space Hulk. We've been saying it for a while, haven't we? Ever since that Biosigns Terminated Gene Stealer model came out. Warhammer Quest is due a new game. You know,
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
if we hadn't have had that list of games for the reveals, I mean, who's to say the pirate one is not? Can you imagine a Warhammer Quest game set on the pirate coast in the old world of
That'd be
Sartosa
sweet,
or
yeah.
something like that? How good would that be?
Really cool.
Maybe it's a new Dreadfleet. Who knows?
Oh, Man of War, yes.
I'd be proper up for
Man
that.
after
Yeah.
my own heart. Anything
Definitely.
nautical would do me.
And I think that's what's my final point is. I think that's what's really exciting about these like previews of the previews is that anything's possible. We know that obviously there will be probably Chaos Dwarfs in AOS, but they could do so much. And I reckon they probably pay attention to the Reddit rumors. They thinking, actually, yeah, that's a really good idea. We should probably do that at some point.
Yeah. They have been in recent years paying more attention to that sort of stuff, and they're earning the money from it. So there's no reason why they wouldn't carry on doing it. For
Can
sure.
I throw just one last question out to you guys?
Yeah.
There's all this talk now about like, was this really the year of chaos? Do you think this is what makes it the year of chaos? The Chaos Dwarfs?
Oh, it's funny you say that because we did
Is
actually
that
talk.
what it meant?
We
Was it
spoke
Chaos
about
Keeping
it.
it quiet and yeah, they've been like sort of playing with it, saying, "Oh yeah, well we meant it was chaos," but could they just go, "But it really is the year of chaos."
It's ironic
Look at
they
these
said
guys.
because last episode, so we spoke about this because they did actually release an article. I want to say about a month ago now to say that they actually kind of told you when it had begun and end. I think they said that it has technically ended, but it does seem weird that they've said it's over now. Even though, yeah, if you've got Chaos Dwarfs coming, you'd think you'd make that like the end of the year, if you like. So
Yeah, but you know what Games Workshop are like. I mean, they put an obituary for Commissar Yarrick in the in the Imperial Guard Codex, and then 3 weeks later did an article on the Warhammer community website saying, "Is he really dead?" Because news is always unreliable in the 41st millennium. So, I mean,
but like we spoke about last time, with things like that, like the design teams, I think sometimes go to the Warhammer community team and they'll say like, "Oh, we've got this idea we've got these Chaos releases coming. Maybe we should call it the Year of Chaos or something." Then they give it to them, and the Warhammer community team then run away with it way more than I think they were anticipating, and they use it for everything. And then everybody expects way more than the team are actually
I think
the
that's
design
a polite
teams
way
are
of
actually
saying
doing.
that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing sometimes. at Games
Basically,
Workshop.
yeah.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. Well, hopefully
So-
this maybe makes it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Great,
But I
great
guarantee
question
you,
to
if
end
it
on.
is great, you'll end up getting the memes now as well saying, GW said it's the end of the Year of Chaos, but this is the coolest Chaos release we've had, and it's just after the endpoint. So I'm sure that'll end up happening.
This
but,
is how we're ending
yeah.
the Year of Chaos with this mic drop.
Yeah.
Chaos Dwarfs.
We were joking. It's not quite over yet. Yeah, drop the mic. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. But no, some cool stuff there. Obviously, guys, as we've been saying all episode, we love it with these preview shows for you to get involved over in the Discord channel mostly as well, but also in the comments here on this video. Let us know what you'd like to see, what you think you might see for the Chaos Dwarves. And the next episode, which will be our episode 50, make sure to join us for that one to react to it. And also, before that episode, as I said just before we finish here, jump over to Blue Sky. I'll leave the link below. Enter that free prize giveaway we're doing for episode 50. Be in with a chance to win your choice of Spearhead for Age of Sigmar or Combat Patrol box for Warhammer 40k, and then you'll be well away with your expansion to one of your armies or a new one. And it's free to enter, so get involved, guys. But before we go, I'll start with you, Tom. But thanks for joining us. It's been really cool to catch up with you.
Yeah, it's been great to have you back.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
really,
me.
really cool, man. And I hope your move and everything carries on going okay. And good luck with your Space Wolves, because that's going to be really cool.
Cheers. I've got a lot of reading to do in the meantime, and you can't even see it that well. But
Oh,
yes,
that's nice. Yes, you got the limited edition one. That's cool.
absolutely, it's gorgeous.
I was just
Go on,
saying,
Si,
Tom,
what was
what great company are you going to pick?
I haven't thought about it yet. I mean, they've kind of rattled up some of the new color schemes, so I will take any suggestions from your listeners and you guys. Once the models arrive, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, because I was I normally stick to Ragnar's great company because I like the way the yellow shoulder pad pops, but then they put transfers in for nearly all of them there, and then the Spirit Wolf logo is back as one of the great companies, and then they've also done transfers for Logan Grimnar's great company as well. So expect to see a lot of different Space Wolf companies on the tabletop. So
I think I'll put the question out to you. Yeah, I'll put the question out in your Discord, I think, because I need some inspiration, because that's the hard part, is actually getting some paint on these models. That's going to take years.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it? Yeah. So Tom, where can everybody find you then? But if they want to check you out on your channel, etc.
Twitter, I occasionally swing by at Tabletop Tom, but otherwise you'll find me on YouTube by the same name. So yeah, the easiest place to find me.
Nice one. And then Si, of course, where can people find you, bud?
Yeah, find me on my own channel at Hobby Waffle on YouTube, and then I'm also on Blue Sky and on Discord as well.
And we all wish you well, bud. Heal up, rest up, and
Yeah.
get some
Yeah, I'm getting
hobbying in whilst you're resting up. Maybe that'll
That's
be
it,
good.
yeah, I've got some time off work now to recover. So
I was going to
I'm
say, I
gonna
thought you might.
sit at my desk and do some hobbying.
Yeah, definitely. Always a good excuse to get some more hobbying in. As for myself, guys, like I said, Wargaming Luke on mostly Blue Sky, and I'll be with you guys chatting with Tom, Simon, and of course Ben when he's back next time, and the rest of you, the awesome community in our Discord channel. But until next time, guys, as always, stay safe out there and happy wargaming.
Bye.
See
See
ya.
you guys.